We're just days away from the long-awaited start of the Summer Olympics, so this week's Heather's Weather Wise is simple. What's the weather like over in Tokyo? A good review of the weather in any part of the world always starts with a review of that area's geography. So let's take a look. Tokyo here is right on the east coast of Japan. It sits right along the shores of the Tokyo Bay. Tokyo also has a latitude very similar to that of Los Angeles. So if you think that sets the city up for a pretty hot summer-like climate, well, you'd be right. Tokyo's average high temperature for this time of the year ranges from 85 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Low temperatures average in the low 70s. Those warm nights are a clue all their own that it's pretty humid in Tokyo too. Higher humidity and a coastal climate also tends to set up for some rainy weather. During a year, Tokyo sees on average about 60 inches of rainfall, and most of that comes during the autumn months. For some perspective, Buffalo's 30-year average annual rainfall is just shy of 41 inches, and a majority of that comes from soaking summer storms. So there's no shortage of summer-like weather for this year's Summer Olympics, but the average high temperatures in the summer in Tokyo, the world's largest city, are rising at an alarming rate. Climate change is causing Tokyo's average temperature to rise 2 to 3 times faster than the rest of the global average. Because of heat concerns, Olympic officials decided in October 2019 to move the marathon and a few other events to Sapporo, 500 miles north of Tokyo. At the time, that was one of the biggest headlines surrounding the Games. Of course, things have changed a lot in 2 years. Even though the average high temperatures this time of the year in Tokyo are in the mid to upper 80s, it's important to remember that those are just averages over the past 30 years. Trends are showing that the number of days in the 90s and triple digits are greatly increasing. And that kind of heat is intense no matter what you're doing, let alone an Olympic athlete competing at peak intensity. Other events like the triathlon, cycling, and rugby have been moved to earlier start times to help mitigate any heat issues. The outlook for that area for the first few days of competition has afternoon highs in the 90s. And with numbers like that, the 2020 Summer Olympic Games could very well end up being the hottest on record. That's it for this week's Heather's Weather Wise. I'll see you soon with a new topic, but until then, remember it's good to be a geek.